Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your November 2023 general reading. We are looking at the first half of November from the 1st through the 15th, and this reading is for the fire sign of Sagittarius. I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks so much for being here, for taking the time to watch these videos and comment on them. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons, particularly that like button. It really does kind of help move the channel along. Thank you to those of you that do, and to those of you that reach out for personal readings, who refer and recommend me to others. My gratitude to you as well, always, and many blessings back to you. So, Sagittarius, if your Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign is in Sagittarius, if you're cross-watching for a Sagittarian, this video is for you. It may resonate a little differently for everyone watching. It's a general reading, so if you know any or all of your Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, watch those videos as well for additional insight. And if something really does touch you, if it really resonates with you and you'd like to take a deeper look at something, or you simply like the reading style, if you are interested in a personal reading with myself, for yourself or as a gift for someone else. Personal readings do make great gifts, and we are headed into the holiday season. They are really nice, personal, and quite easy gifts to give as well. But if you're interested in any of that for yourself or someone else, just email me at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. You can also see that contact info by clicking the title or the description of this video. You'll see my email address there. I would love to hear from you. And I can usually get back to you the same day with all the information. I offer a pretty wide variety of reading choices in all areas of life, of all different types and lengths and styles and budgets. There's something in there for everyone. And I do readings full-time. It's all that I do. So I'm able to address scheduling of personal readings in a fairly timely fashion as well, if that's important to you. Something to keep in mind. Okay, Sagittarius. Let's see what the first half of November looks like for you. I am using the Tarot of Dreams and clarifying with the Radiant Rider-Waite. Sagittarius, we begin with Faith, which in other decks would be known as the Hierophant card. Convention, tradition, institution, the norm. Sometimes represents actual institutional energy like organized religions, government, schools, hospitals, universities. Here in this deck, I mean, it still carries those same meanings, but the artist Cyril Marchetti in this deck wanted to place a particular emphasis on the faith part of this card. You know, having faith in something that we can't see exactly how it's going to play out, you know, but we feel like we're on the right track, so we keep one step at a time on this path. So having faith. With that, we have Judgment. Judgment represents being at a crossroads, and it typically shows up when a choice has been placed in front of you. And typically the newer choice is typically spirit-driven, and could potentially change your life. Of course, free will, free agency. We're called to account for ourselves, to answer for our own actions and choices, which is also in Judgment as well. And there's typically an air of finality about Judgment, meaning, you know, whatever choice you make, that's the one you're probably going to be, you know, kind of stuck with, good or bad, for a long time, if not permanently, so choose wisely. Judgment is also sometimes called the second chance card because it can represent an opportunity that comes around again, that you may want to take this time because it may not come back around again. So having faith, and literally having faith in making what could be a profoundly altering choice here. Next we have the Lovers, which also represents a choice. Actually, in the early tarot decks, there wasn't a Lovers card. There was a card called the Choice. And it showed someone standing in front of two people, the implication being that a choice needed to be made between two people. Now, it doesn't necessarily represent that. It represents, again, it's a crossroads major arcana card, and it represents that a choice needs to be made, and it's significant, and it will significantly impact a relationship. Now, the choice might be about the relationship. Do we go forward together? Do we go our separate ways? For some of you, it might be a third-party situation, meaning that there's two choices involved with two other people. Some of you, I mean, it may be a choice in another area of life, but one, again, which significantly impacts a primary relationship. There's choice all over this so far. 3 major arcana cards out already. An abundance of major arcana cards represents that it's probably a pretty important or significant time. And we're only looking at 2 weeks, but it looks like an important 2 weeks. Wow, With the Lovers, we have another major arcana card, the World. Now, the World is the last major arcana card in the tarot. The first card is the Fool, the last card is the World, and all the cards in between there represent a chapter or set of chapters in our life that are significant, with the World card being graduation and a milestone being reached, and you move on to a whole new chapter, like childhood, teenage years, adulthood, leaving home, going to university, getting married, getting your first car, your first home, divorce. I mean, those major cycles in our life, those major chapters in our life. One cycle of the tarot typically represents those. So there's a final ending and a graduation and a moving on. Now, because it's with the Lovers card, again, it's about a choice. Moving on can be a few different things. It can be moving on united, or it can be moving on separate. It really just kind of depends. Wow. There's another major arcana card, Temperance. We have 5 cards out, and they're all major arcana cards. So Temperance is a card, a major arcana card, and it speaks of balance and healing and harmony. Learning how to keep your feet firmly planted in the middle of something, meaning this is who I am, this is what I'm about, this is, where I'm headed. And even though, like being in the middle of a seesaw or a teeter-totter, those outside arms represent all the things that we have no control over that come into our lives, right? Now, if we allow those things to kind of pull us out of our surety and certainty about who we are and what we're about and where we're headed, then we lose our balance, right? So Temperance is staying kind of in the middle and learning how to adapt and adjust. It's also a card of healing. With the King of Wands, that's you, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Because we do have a partnership showing up here, it might be another fire sign or somebody who manifests like a fire sign. King of Fire or Queen of Fire. It's a general reading, could be either gender. From the bottom of the deck, the overall energy or theme for the first half of November is the Knight of Swords. I always think of conversations when I think of the Knight of Swords. Knights usually take what they learned as pages, and then they charge out and begin to take that and physically manifest with it. So the Page of Swords would be our traditional student. He's our information gatherer, sometimes the spy of the tarot he's called. But really his fundamental objective is to learn, to gather information. The Knight of Swords then takes that information and kind of moves out and begins manifesting with it. He's kind of like the verbal mailman of the tarot, right? So I always think of conversations with the Knight of Swords. But Knights represent offers and opportunities for change, the speed at which situations move. The Knight of Swords takes information and in a very smart and practical way begins to move forward, and he's very decisive. This is about moving forward in perhaps a fast but very decisive way. So it obviously looks like there's 2 choices here. And it looks like an opportunity to bring balance and healing to a situation maybe that was lacking that. Spirit always supports a path of balance and healing. Even if balance and healing means removing something from your life that you're attached to, but which has caused stress, anxiety, conflict, pain, and isn't resolving itself, sometimes balance comes from removing that from yourself so you can heal and then move forward on a balanced life. So it really kind of depends here. Let's take a look at that Knight of Swords. Yeah, 5 of Wands, conflict, internal conflict, external conflict, fighting about the same thing over and over and over again with nothing getting resolved because there's no meeting in the middle, there's no compromise, negotiation, there's none of that. The Queen of Wands. So we have a King and Queen of Wands here. We have a couple here, which makes sense. We have the Lovers as well. And the Ten of Cups, the happy home, happily ever after card. In the tarot, tens represent cycle completion and fulfillment. So the Ten of Cups, particularly, Cups is governed by the element of water, which governs our emotional landscape, our heart space. So the Ten of Cups represents being at a place where you feel like everything's finally fallen into place. Everything's come together. There's peace, there's balance, there's love, there's harmony. It's the part in the fairy tale where they ride off into the sunset, the white picket fence. It can represent, you know, the house itself, marriage, children, blessings. There's conflict here. There's a conversation and conflict here about what is the right choice, what is the right thing. But if it's an actual argument, I feel like it's an old argument, like it's one that you guys have had for quite some time. Let's take a look at faith and judgment, or the Hierophant and judgment. It's basically using faith. I mean, faith and judgment, or the Hierophant and judgment, or justice. I mean, with the Ten of Cups, it might be a marriage issue for some of you. It might be whether to get married or not. Maybe one of you doesn't, one of you does. I don't know. Could be whether to split up or stay together if you're already married or together. It might be that the conflict or the imbalance is in another area of life, but one which is significantly affecting the relationship or home and family life. And again, some kind of choice needs to be made here. The Lovers again. Justice. So we have judgment and justice, the Four of Wands, the other happy home card. So we have justice and judgment, Ten of Cups, Four of Wands. I mean, it's a strong, like, marriage, home, family energy, whether you're married or not. Some of you, it might be the decision to get married. Some of you, it might be the decision to get divorced. And again, for some of you, it could be in another area of life. But the thing is that there's conflict about what's the right way to move forward here. And it is hugely significant, meaning that the outcome of whatever choice this is will be profoundly life-altering, life path-altering. I mean, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 main cards, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are major arcana cards. And the other one is you. The only other one that doesn't connect to you in the major arcana cards is the Knight of Swords, and that's our opportunity and conversation about choices here. So it means this is a particularly significant decision. Let's take a look at the Lovers. The King and Queen of Pentacles. It might be some of you are involved with another earth sign, but the King and Queen of Pentacles, again, is an established couple. Whether you've been married or you haven't been married, you've been together for a long time. But the Emperor and the Empress is typically married because that's how they need to be. And with faith, meaning the Hierophant, maybe that's what the argument is about. But again, it's an established couple. The World. Nine of Swords, stress, anxiety, fear of an unknown future, obsessing about it, worrying about it, perhaps too much, and with it, like a worst possible negative outcome. 8 of Cups, leaving, walking away. 7 of Wands, stay and defend. Do I walk away to go in search of wish fulfillment? Do I stay and defend this, hold on to this? Again, whether it's the relationship or something else. Judgment and the Hermit. Judgment again. I mean, Judgment already represents a significant, potentially life path altering choice. And ×2 here, I mean, and the Hermit is kind of like the High Priestess. It's about somebody who uses their wealth of knowledge and wisdom and insight that's gained from all their experience to move to, and using the wealth of all their life experience to move forward, to figure out how to, I mean, you can see that he's holding, usually there's some representation of somebody who's holding up his lantern to light the way so he can see what the path is or see how to move forward, particularly if you've been stuck. Because in this one, you know, he's in ice. That the light of this lantern, the lantern represents his experience. It's about using the experience to move forward. Maybe some of you have been stuck in this for some time. Let's take a look at Temperance. Yeah, the Seven of Pentacles, taking stock, taking inventory. This is looking at all the effort, all the resources that you've put into something and asking yourself, okay, can it get better than this? Does the end justify the means? Do I need to make changes? And if so, what are they? King of Wands. I mean, for some of you, this may be in a different area of life that impacts the relationship, but for a lot of you, I'm feeling like it's about the relationship itself. It feels like in the primary relationship, somebody isn't happy. And the other person disagrees. I mean, isn't that how it goes, right? There may be, for some of you, the person who isn't unhappy has another option or another path that they could take. But it's kind of like this being the primary relationship. I mean, you know, I think that the person who's unhappy would choose to stay in this if this relationship were to morph or to heal in a certain way. Clarifying the King of Wands, we have the King of Wands again, the World again, and the Ace of Cups, which could be new love and romance. It could be emotional renewal in an already existing situation. Looking at the bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Cups, which is the soulmate card, the Two of Pentacles, decision, Four of Cups, an offer being made. Someone might have another choice here, but they're like, you know, it might be that this other person is offering what their primary relationship is missing, but of course all the history and the emotion are with this primary relationship. It just feels like a relationship at a crossroads, a major crossroads. And again, it's a general reading, so the little details and specifics may vary. The fundamental energy remains the same, but this feels like it's about the relationship itself and whether the two of you move forward together or not, and if so, what that's going to look like, or to go your separate ways. That's kind of what it feels like here. Some of you might already be in the middle of this process, and it's all about the haggling over maybe division of things and stuff like that. What to hold on to, what to fight for, what not to. All right, let's wrap this up with some advice, guidance, feedback from Spirit. Ace of Pentacles. Aces represent the number one, so they represent a new start. So Spirit is advocating a path of a new beginning. Now that can be either going your own way so that you can have the possibility and potential to have what you really want. It could be renewal in this situation if that is possible. But here's the thing. The Ace of Pentacles wants to grow through the 2 and the 9 to be a 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles is long-term security and stability. It's not having to worry about the future or not having to worry about it so much. So the Ace holds the potential of that. So Spirit is advocating a path that will lead to that. The Five of Swords, a hard-won victory, winning at all costs, even if it represents, needing to cut people, places, and situations out of your life in order to have your wish fulfillment. 9 of Cups here. We have the Hierophant here, which is the same as Faith. The Hierophant represents tradition, the tried and true path, because that's also where you get long-term stability and security and peace, too, and balance. And the Sun, light, love, warmth, laughter, all those pressures uplifted and being relieved. So whatever path that is for you is the one that Spirit advocates that you take. A path that is the beginning of leading to a certain long-term security and stability and an uplifting of perhaps restrictions and energies and fear of an unknown future. Particularly if you've been in a long-term relationship where you don't feel like you've really had kind of the support from your partner, that you've needed, in terms of knowing if, you have to shoulder everything more or less on your own moving forward in the future. What's the point of partnership if that's the case, right? So it's a path of security and stability that that Spirit is advocating here for. So I think I'll just leave it there. Sagittarius, those are your messages for the first half of November. I hope you found them useful and relevant, gave you something to chew on in your decision making moving forward. Again, if this did resonate with you, or if you simply like the reading style, if you are interested in a personal reading with me for yourself or as a gift for someone else, please feel free to email me directly at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. You can see that contact info by clicking on the description or title of this video. I would be delighted to hear from you and to work with you. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the November mid-month readings. Stay safe, stay well. Hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.